Teach the audience how critical online safety is. Just as we lock our doors, we must guard our digital presence. The story begins with subtle red flags, messages, friend requests, unchecked behaviors. Make this keynote a lesson in recognizing early warning signs. When you think of danger, you probably imagine a dark alley, a stranger's shadow, maybe a broken window or a scream in the night. But what if I told you that danger first came to me in the form of a like on a Facebook photo? It was harmless at first, flattering even, a few comments, a message that seemed innocent. Hey, I saw your post about mental health, I really connected with it. I believed it, why wouldn't I? We are taught to be polite, to be open, to connect. But no one ever teaches you to identify the line between attention and obsession, between admiration and invasion. And let me tell you, the difference is life or death. Awareness isn't fear, awareness is preparation. It's power. If you get a gut feeling that something isn't right, don't just shrug it off. That's your intuition screaming to be heard. That's your spirit saying, wake up, pay attention. I didn't listen soon enough. I didn't recognize the red flags, how he started messaging more frequently, how he'd react when I didn't reply, how he'd comment on photos from months ago like he'd been scrolling for hours. That's not support. That's surveillance, but I brushed it off. I didn't want to seem rude. I didn't want to hurt anyone's feelings, and that is how silence becomes a weapon turned against you. The first step to protecting yourself is knowing that you have the right asterisk too. You have the right to block someone. You have the right to delete, to report, to say no. Even if it makes someone uncomfortable, your safety is not up for negotiation. Your peace is not up for sacrifice. You don't owe access to your life, your energy, or your attention just because someone seems nice. I want every young person, every woman, every human hearing this to remember, boundaries are not barriers. They are bridges to self-respect. Be aware of how much of yourself you're giving away for free. Be aware of how much people can learn about you from a tagged photo, a check-in, a shared story. Social media isn't just social, it's surveillance with a smile. And predators, they don't always come with fangs. Sometimes they come with compliments. I used to believe the world was safer than it is, and I still believe in kindness, in connection, in hope. But now I know that hope must come with armor. That trust must come with tools. That kindness must never cost your safety. If someone starts to feel wrong, off, heavy, asterisk, listen, asterisk. If someone starts to feel entitled to your life, asterisk, resist, asterisk. You do not owe softness to someone sharpening their control. You do not owe access to someone hiding behind a profile picture and a friendly message. I share this because I wish someone had told me. I wish someone had said, you're not crazy, you're not rude, you're not dramatic. You're aware, and that awareness might just save your life. Let your awareness be fierce. Let it be unapologetic. Let it be your protection, your power, your permission to choose you above all else. Detail the moment everything changed, the acid attack, but pivot quickly into reclaiming agency. Emphasize emotional and physical pain while educating on trauma recovery. This is where Amy Purdy's resilience shines through. Transformation from victim to fighter. Pain doesn't knock gently. It crashes through the door and changes everything in an instant. That moment, that attack, that scream that tore through my throat like fire. Nothing prepares you for it. 1 second, I was walking outside, just living my life. The next, acid was melting my skin, my face, my identity. My body became a battlefield, my reflection a stranger. People don't talk about that, the raw brutality of pain. Not just physical, but emotional, spiritual. It strips you. You feel like you're dying, even if you survive. And I did survive. But surviving isn't just waking up the next day. It's waking up asterisk every asterisk day knowing the life you had is gone. And you're standing in the ashes trying to remember how to breathe. But here's what they don't tell you about pain. Yes, it will break you. But it also has the power to rebuild you stronger than you've ever been. You want real strength. It's not in pretending it didn't hurt. It's in asterisk knowing asterisk it hurt more than words can say and still choosing to rise. I remember staring at the hospital ceiling, wrapped in bandages, my face a puzzle of agony, and thinking, I will not let this be the end of me. That is power. That is when pain becomes fuel, and yes, you can be in agony and still be powerful. You can scream through your tears and still be brave. You don't have to pretend to be okay to begin healing. You just have to decide that this is not where your story ends. People will stare, they'll whisper, some will look at you with pity, others with disgust, but none of that defines you. You are not what happened to you. You are what you choose to become because of it. And I chose every single day to take back control. It started small, sitting up without crying, walking to the mirror without turning away, looking into my own eyes and saying, you are still here. That's victory. That's power. There's no quick fix, no magic quote or moment that makes the pain disappear, but there is truth. And truth is that pain doesn't make you weak. It makes you real. It teaches you how deep your roots go. It strips away the noise and leaves you face to face with the raw core of who you are. And that core, that spirit, it is unbreakable . You don't need to bounce back to the old you. That version of you served their purpose. Now it's time to evolve, to become someone who knows pain and still chooses joy, who remembers fear and still chooses courage, who carries scars and still chooses love. Pain isn't the enemy, silence is. Shame is, hiding is, but you are the answer, you are the comeback. You are the story that someone else will one day cling to in their darkest moment. So hold on, speak loud, heal slow, and never, ever let pain be the last word. Let it be the first spark. Focus on the emotional journey after the attack. Talk about mirrors, public reactions, and the struggle with self, worth. Then educate. Beauty, confidence, and purpose are internal structures, not external validations. I remember the first time I looked in the mirror after the bandages came off. My breath caught. My heart slammed against my chest. It wasn't just the physical damage. It was the silence in the room, the way everyone avoided eye contact, the way even the mirror seemed to flinch. And in that moment, I felt it, that crushing weight, that question none of us ever want to ask, am I still me? You see, when the world places so much value on appearance, especially for women, especially in this filtered, picture-perfect society, losing your face feels like losing your identity. People would say, you're still beautiful on the inside, and I'd smile, but inside I was screaming, because I didn't feel beautiful. I felt destroyed. But here's the truth I need you to hear louder than any lie this world throws at you. Your identity is not defined by the surface. Your value is not written in symmetry, in clear skin, in someone else's idea of perfection. You are not a collection of features. You are a force, a soul, a story, and that story deserves to be told, scars and all. What I learned through this brutal, painful journey is that the world will try to shrink you into a shape that makes them comfortable. But you were never meant to be small. You were meant to be whole, unfiltered, unapologetic. There was a day, I'll never forget it, when a little girl came up to me, looked me right in the face, and said, "You look like a superhero." And in that second, everything shifted. I realized she didn't see damage. She saw power, she saw survival, she saw someone who had walked through fire and was still standing. And maybe, just maybe, that's what we need to start seeing in ourselves, not what's missing, not what's changed. But what's asterisk still here asterisk? What's asterisk stronger now asterisk? Let me say this to you as loud as I can. Your scars are not flaws. They are evidence, proof that you've lived, fought, and healed, and you don't need to hide them to be worthy. You don't need to erase your pain to be loved. Anyone who makes you feel less than because of how you look is not seeing you, and anyone who truly sees you will recognize the beauty in your strength, your resilience, your truth. I had to learn to look at myself and say, you are not broken. You are becoming. Every day, I looked into that mirror and found one thing to love, 1 inch of courage, 1 spark of pride, and over time, that practice became power. You can do the same. Speak to yourself like someone worth loving. Walk like someone who owns every inch of their story, because confidence isn't a light switch, it's a fire you build slowly, patiently, relentlessly, until it lights up the world. And one day, the mirror won't scare you. It'll salute you, because you'll know. You faced what most people never do, and you rose, not in spite of your scars, but because of them. Turn the narrative by educating how the same digital space that caused harm also became a platform for advocacy, connection, and healing. Talk about learning boundaries, privacy, and how digital literacy is emotional armor. Technology almost took my life. That's not an exaggeration. It started with a screen, a profile, a simple message, and like so many people, I believed the screen was safe. I thought, it's just online. What's the harm? But the harm was real. The harm had eyes on my photos, tracking my location, watching my every post like a blueprint, and I didn't know it. Until it was too late, until the knock on the door, until the fire on my face, until my reality was shattered by someone who used the internet to find, follow, and destroy me. We talk about technology like it's neutral, but it isn't. It's powerful, and power in the wrong hands becomes a weapon. But here's what I need you to know. That same technology, the one that almost broke me, also helped rebuild me. It connected me to survivors across the world. It gave me a voice when I thought I had none. It allowed me to speak truth, to raise awareness, to create boundaries that were once invisible. The difference wasn't the technology, it was how I used it, how I claimed it, how I took it back. Because while predators hide behind fake names and smiling emojis, survivors can rise louder, stronger, bolder, with truth, with education, with community. You have to learn to use digital tools like you would a shield. Not something to hide behind, but something to defend yourself with. That starts with being intentional. Be conscious of what you share. You don't owe the world a location tag. You don't owe strangers access to your life. You don't have to respond to every message just because it pops up. Your time, your space, your asterisk presence asterisk online is sacred. And you have every right to protect it. And let me be clear, using privacy settings isn't being paranoid. It's being powerful. Blocking someone isn't rude, it's revolutionary. Saying no, deleting, reporting. It's not weakness, it's wisdom, because you are not obligated to keep someone comfortable at the cost of your own safety. You are not required to be available 24/7 just because there's a Wi-Fi signal. You are a living, breathing human being, not content, not a feed to be consumed. The truth is, we were never taught how to defend ourselves digitally. We were thrown into this online world without armor, but it's time to change that. Time to teach ourselves and each other that digital literacy is just as important as real-world safety. Because when you understand your worth, you'll stop handing it out to people who never deserved it. When you understand your power, you'll stop shrinking to fit inside someone's creepy narrative. You are not a profile picture. You are not a DM waiting to be answered. You are not their fantasy. You are asterisk real asterisk. And real people get to choose. Real people get to fight back. Real people take back their story and write a new one in bold, in truth, and freedom. So use the technology. Don't let it use you. Make your account a fortress. Make your voice a siren. Make your presence online not just visible, but untouchable, because the moment you own your space, the moment you reclaim your tools, that's when you become unstoppable. Show how the survivor adapted physically, emotionally, socially. In Amy Purdy's style, use analogies of prosthetics, tools, support systems. The lesson, we don't bounce back to who we were. We grow into someone stronger. Adaptability isn't about pretending everything's fine. It's about standing knee deep in the mess and still finding a way forward. When the acid hit my face, it didn't just burn skin, it burned away the world I thought I knew. I couldn't recognize myself, couldn't breathe without pain, couldn't even sit up without help, and that's where adaptability was born. Not out of choice, but necessity. Not in a perfect moment, but in the ugliest, most unbearable ones, and let me tell you, it didn't feel brave at first. It felt like breaking. It felt like being buried under a life I no longer fit into. But adaptability whispered, we don't go back. We grow different. You have to let go of the fantasy that you'll return to who you were before the trauma. That person is gone, and that's not a death sentence. It's a rebirth. That version of me who used to scroll, pose, post, and live without fear. That version served her purpose, but she couldn't survive what I was about to go through. I had to become someone new, someone who could walk through fire. Someone who could look in the mirror and still say, "You've got this." Adaptability is that inner grit. It's when you stop begging for the old life and start designing the new one shaky, stubborn step at a time. There were days I couldn't smile because of the pain, days when my face felt like a prison. I had to learn how to speak again without wincing, how to wear my new features without shame, how to enter a room and own it. Not despite my scars, but because of them. That kind of strength doesn't come from pretending. It comes from adapting. Like Amy Purdy learning to walk again with prosthetics, I had to mentally fit into this new frame. You don't bounce back, you rebuild. You rewire, you reinvent, and yes, the world might treat you differently. People stare, people pity, people ask questions with their eyes they'll never dare say aloud. But adaptability means you learn to walk through those rooms like they owe you space. You learn to use the stairs as fuel. You speak even louder, love even harder, live even bolder. Because when everything is taken from you, you stop being afraid of losing. You start being afraid of not living . You start becoming the fiercest, most unshakable version of yourself. Don't let your pain be the edge of your life. Let it be the beginning of your rise. Adaptability is a superpower, not because it removes the pain, but because it gives you the strength to move through it. Step by step, breath by breath, day by day. Until one day you look up and realize you didn't just survive, you transformed. You reshaped your world. You took what was meant to destroy you and built a future with it. That is the power of adapting. Not just to what happened, but to who you've become in the aftermath. End with a focus on purpose, using pain as a platform to educate, inspire, and empower others. Survivors are not statistics. They are beacons. That's the lasting legacy. There comes a moment after the pain, after the surgeries, after the silence in the hospital room, where you ask yourself, why me? And not in self-pity, but in search of purpose. You've survived something that was meant to destroy you. Now what? Do you hide forever? Do you shrink down, stay quiet, disappear behind fear? Or do you stand up raw and real and say, I'm still here, and my story matters? That's where the shift happens. That's where trauma stops being your prison and starts becoming your platform. That's when you turn your pain into power and your scars into a story that saves someone else's life. I had to make that decision. I didn't feel ready. I didn't feel brave. I still had wounds that hadn't healed and days I couldn't face my own reflection. But then I realized something life-altering. Someone out there is sitting in the same darkness I once drowned in, and they need to know there's a way out . That's when I started to speak, not polish. Not perfect, but honest. That's when I turned my trauma into testimony. Because when you share your story, not the filtered version, but the raw truth, you give people permission to do the same. You become a lighthouse. You become proof that the worst thing that ever happened to you doesn't get to be the last chapter. Do you know how much power that gives you to look at what tried to kill you and say, thank you for the lesson, but you don't get to write the ending . That's courage, that's transformation, and that's what you carry now. Not everyone will understand your pain, but someone, somewhere, needs your voice. They're waiting for it. They're praying for someone to say the words they've been too afraid to speak. And when you rise and tell the truth, ugly, broken, unfiltered, you become the thing they hold onto. It's not about being perfect. It's about being real . You don't need a stage. You don't need a spotlight. All you need is your story and the willingness to tell it like it is. Share it in conversations, in writing, in whispers if you have to. Let your pain have a purpose. Let your healing be visible, because when people see what you've survived, they see what's possible. They see that healing isn't about going back, it's about going forward, stronger, louder, more fierce than ever. Don't wait to feel ready. Don't wait until the fear disappears. It won't. Speak anyway. Share anyway. There's someone who will hear your story and decide asterisk not to give up asterisk that night. There's someone who will say, if she made it through asterisk that asterisk, then maybe I can make it through asterisk this asterisk. That is the power of testimony. That is the power of rising from the ashes and choosing to be seen. Your voice is your victory. Your pain was not in vain, and you, exactly as you are the living proof that light can still shine from even the darkest places.